Today we're going to be proving angle relationships. So we've done algebraic proof, we've proved segment relationships. Now it's our time to move on to some angle relationships. Okay, our angle addition postulate. If you have point D that's in the interior of angle ABC, you have ABD plus DBC is going to equal the larger angle ABC. And you see it here. It's illustrated here with this x plus y, and then in green, the whole big angle's x plus y. Okay, so our first example having to do with this. FGC is 110, so I'm going to label up my diagram. FGH, so the big angle, I'm going to draw a big arc so I know it's the whole thing, is 160. I need to find the measure of angle CGH. So angle FGC plus angle CGH equals angle FGH, FGC, so 110, plus angle CGH equals FGH, so all I have to do is subtract and get 50 degrees. Okay, so a little bit more algebra. And I'm going to be labeling the diagram CDI, 8x minus 6, IDE is 80, and the whole thing is 14 plus 13x. So 8x minus 6 plus 80 is going to equal my whole angle, 14 plus 13x. So I have 8x plus 74 equals 14 plus 13x. I'm going to subtract the 8 over to get a 5x. I'm going to subtract the 14 over to get a 60. And I'm going to confirm my answer here. I'm right. Okay, just making sure. X equals 12 in this case. Now this one's a little bit more challenging because we have to find AJK. I'm not just solving for X. So again, I go through and I mark up my diagram. It's important to always be marking up your diagram. LJ, LKJ, okay, so the entire thing is 174, and then this part in here is 17x minus 6. So I have 17x minus 6 plus 12 plus 4x has got to equal 174. So I'm going to combine like terms here, and I get a 21x plus 6 is equal to 174. Solving that, I get x equals 8. Now, again, I'm trying to find AJK. So, measure of angle AKJ is equal to 17 times 8 minus 6. That is equal to 130. Okay, so each of these angle pairs. Okay, what special angle pair do they make? Okay, so this special angle pair makes a linear pair. These make a right angle. A linear pair is 180 degrees. A right angle makes 90 degrees. Remember, our special name for two angles that add up to be 180 degrees is supplementary. Complementary is if they add up to 90 degrees. So we have these theorems. And you want to pause your video and write down these theorems. The supplement theorem. Two angles form a linear pair, then they are supplementary angles. Okay, our complement theorem. If the non-common sides form a right angle, then the angles are complementary. So that's our supplement theorem and our complement theorem. So now some algebra having to do with these. And I apologize, I'm going kind of fast. I have a lot of examples. And before I started this video, I said, well, can I get rid of any of these? And I just love all of these examples. Okay. So here, using the complement theorem, 5x plus 2 plus 43 is equal to 90. So 5x plus 45 equals 90. Solving that, I've told you that I have line AC here. I just thought it was easier to tell you that I had line AC so you didn't have to make any assumptions. So from our supplements theorem, 2x plus 18 plus 5x plus 1 is equal to 180. Okay, so then from here, I subtract. And 7 does go into 161 23 times. Okay, example 3, we're actually proving a theorem. And we're proving kind of a theorem that even my honors students, when I used to teach honors geometry, were struggled with a little bit. We're trying to prove that the supplements of the same angle are going to be congruent. So again, a 2-column proof. We always start with the first statement. I typically write the given, everything in the given first, because then I pull pieces from that. So my second step, now pull something from this. Write something about the fact that 1 and 2 are supplementary. Well, I know that 1 and 2 are supplementary. They equal 180. And 2 and 3 equals 180. And why is that? That is our definition of supplementary angles. I originally had supplements theorem on here, but that's not true because we don't know that they're a linear pair. Okay, now 3. They're both equal to 180, both of these equations. So I can say angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to angle 2 plus angle 3. And I'm going to use substitution there because I think about it as I'm substituting 2 plus 3 for 180 right there. Angle 2 is common in both sides, so I can subtract that out. Make sure you understand the difference between substitution and subtraction. So I'm okay if you're done here. Again, remember our book is going to do one more step. And some geometry teachers are going to make you do this. So if you see this from a different geometry teacher, don't be mad at them. Okay, what are we calling that? Definition of congruence. But I'm okay if you leave it at step 4. Okay, so we've proven a theorem. We've proven our congruent supplements theorem. Again, remember, we don't really use these numbers, so I should even just white those out. Okay, angles supplementary to the same angle or congruent angles are congruent. And that's our abbreviation. Congruent complements theorem. Same thing is true for complementary angles. Okay, and I can't remember, but I might have you proving that in your homework. So again, take a minute, pause the video, write that down. Okay, so this proof is going to use that theorem. I want to do a proof where we use that theorem. So angle 1 and angle 4 form a linear pair, and the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 1 equals 180 degrees. I need to prove angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. So again, our given is always our first step. And I know it seems tedious to write it down. Okay, this is our given. Step 2. Okay, so write something about the given. I'm going to take this first piece of the given and I'm going to say angle 1 and angle 4 are supplementary. And that's our supplements theorem. I'm going to take something from the second part of the given. Angle 1 and angle 3 are supplementary. And that's by our definition of supplementary angles. Now I kind of want to highlight something with you guys. We have 4 and 3 are supplements of the same angle. What did we just prove? We just proved that angle 4 is going to be congruent to angle 3. What's our reason? Supplements of the same angle are congruent. Okay? So that's a proof using what we just talked about. Okay, another theorem. And I proved this earlier. I actually recorded this video yesterday. So we're given the diagram. Rarely will I ever, this is the only time I will say that. Given the diagram. Step 2. Notice how again my steps are lining up. Make sure your steps line up so you have like 1 through 3 all crammed together. They line up so I can just read across. Okay, 1 and 2. What do we know about 1 and 2? Angle 1 plus angle 2 are equal 180 degrees. Angle 1 and 4. Okay, and that's our supplements theorem. Okay, angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. And that is by definition of supplementary angles. I have supplements of the same angle. Supplements of the same angle. Supplements of the same angle are congruent. And what special angle pair are 2 and 4? That's what I should have started out with. Those are vertical angles. So the name of this is the vertical angles theorem. our abbreviation. We're never going to use that vertical angles theorem. We're going to use vertical angles are congruent. Okay? And I actually proved that earlier on in the, I think it was during last chapter. Okay, now that we know that, vertical angles are congruent. This angle is equal to this angle. I think I jumped the gun when I started doing algebra with these last chapter. I don't know why our book talks about the special angle pair and then doesn't ever do algebra with them. But set the two angles equal, solve for x. That's what I had to do. I had to solve for x. I apologize. I know this video is getting a little long. There's a lot of information in this section, though, that I want to make sure you all have. Okay. So, AC is perpendicular to DB. What can I conclude? I can conclude this is a right angle. Well, I know 1 and 2 add up to 180 degrees, so I know this is a right angle. So I know that's a right angle. And that's a right angle. So we can conclude a lot of things. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4 are all right angles. We can conclude perpendicular lines form congruent adjacent angles. And then we can also conclude that all right angles are congruent. Okay? So knowing things about perpendicular lines, I think our book does has some theorems on that. Okay, so if 5 is equal to 6 and 5 is supplementary to 6, what can we conclude? Well, if I have two angles that are the same thing that add up to 180 degrees, they're going to be right angles. If 7 is congruent to 8 and they add up to 180, they're right angles. Okay, in this, solve for x. I think we've done problems like this before. Maybe that's why this video is so long. I think we've done problems like this before. They're not equal, Mrs. Marnell. Get it together. They add up to 180 degrees. I have 10x plus 10 is equal to 180 degrees. 10x is equal to 170. X is equal to 7. Just doing some more algebra. I'm going to really be pushing you guys with algebra. Okay, let's do one more proof. We'll skip the last example. Okay, so 1 and 2 are complementary. 1 is congruent to 3. So notice how I mark that up in my diagram right away. 2, I'm going to make sure that I have 2, just angle 2. 2 is congruent to 4. So then from here, I need to prove that 3 and 4 are complementary. Okay, so we start with the given. I'm now going to write something about that piece of the given. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. If you want to write all the given in one step, you can. Okay, so I wrote something about the given. Now I'm going to write the second part of the given. And that's given. Now what I want you to notice what I have here. 1 is equal to 3, so I'm going to substitute in. 2 is equal to 4, so I'm going to substitute in. So I'm going to have angle 3 plus angle 4 equals 90 degrees. And that was just substitution. That's a good example of substitution. 5, our step 5 is, hey, 3 and 4 are 90. I need to get that they're complementary. Angle 3 and angle 4 are complementary by definition of complementary angles. Okay, our videos hit quite a length. I understand that this was a long video. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Thank you for watching. There was a lot in this section, so I appreciate you all hanging out with me. Thank you for watching.